Before we begin, I have a small video. It's a big video, something that I would want you to watch, and we'll try to do a small discussion on that, and we'll see how you and me together can make a better place for people.
Now, some of the things that's going to happen when you look out and see what can I contribute to, what can I give, I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have a voice that's saying, it's just no use, it's out of control now. There will be a voice telling you that you'll be wasting your time and wasting your energy and wasting your effort. I say don't listen to it. Listen to that still small voice that says, I can do something, and I ought to do it. We ought to do it. Disraeli said this, nothing can resist the will of a people that will stake even their existence on the extent of that purpose for good. I strongly believe that all of us have some work to do, that each one of us showed up to do something, that each one of us showed up to contribute something to life, and that if we don't do it, it will not be done. Be it that you want to help and contribute to youth or do something for the homeless, whatever you want to do, if you get up in the morning out of a sense of office and decide that I am an opening for the universe, that life can work through and use me as a channel and as an instrument for change.
How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out. I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. You are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. And after you walk through those doors today, you will only ever have two choices, love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart.
Begin to see yourself as an opening for the universe, to move through, to work through, to make a difference in life. See yourself being used by life to improve the quality of life, to expand and to grow.
Great. That's a small video that I wanted to show only for you to understand that we all are here to do something, and somewhere or another, you and me make a difference, and we can change the world. We all follow what Gandhi says, be the change, that you want to see in the world. I'm from an organization called Youngistaan Foundation, and all of our work that happens in the organization is run, driven, inspired, motivated by volunteers itself. And all that they do is something the same, but I will show another video at the end. And most of these people are young people. There's so many things that I wanted to share, but most of the points that I wanted to share was already spoken by a few others from the morning, which was pretty inspiring for me too. But one such statistics which I will continue to speak is, as we are, the topic for this next session is how are we implementing the social sustainable development goals on ground level. So what Youngistaan does is, Youngistaan has was intentionally, was prepared, for young people. It is a platform given for young people, and then the intention is so that, they can reach out to different issues. I don't know if you got through this flyers and all, that was distributed by few of our volunteers outside. We have 5 to 6 topics or issues or problems that we deal with, okay? And platform is Youngistaan, and issues are the SDGs, and we use young people to ensure that they work on ground level to, to be the difference in the community. The statistics, a lot of people were sharing the whole day was that, there are so many young people in India, and very few people actually come on ground level. Today I was reading an article from Guardian which says 600 million Indian population are below the age of 25. And if you can add little more, they say 70% are below the age of 35. One of the things that keeps me wondering, where are these 70% of people? We are they busy getting a job to become a doctor or an engineer, or why don't they involve themselves in community work? Why don't they do something on ground level? So I just did a basic survey. So I went to different colleges, schools, and to just understand whether they know anything about the sustainable development goals. So I might have spoken to close to 100 young people. These are below the age of 35, students, people who are working in corporates. And guess how many people have heard about the SDGs? How many percentage do you want to think of? क्या यार? 40? How many of you might have heard about the Sustainable Development Goals very recently? Is it only because somebody dragged you to a conference which says SDGs, or social workers ज़बरदस्ती है भाई, वो हमारा पढ़ना curriculum में है, नहीं तो we wouldn't have read about it. 70% of people or more than that had no clue. They said, wo kya hai bhai? I've never heard about it. And I felt really bad. Why don't they get to hear about this? We say, the UN says, by 2030, these issues, if we focus on these problems, the world will be a better place. Then why aren't we able to focus and, work on these issues? One of the biggest reasons, I just want to share this small example. One of the things that we do on ground level is we help in rebuilding schools. And we went to one place in Chilkur where we were renovating the school, and we needed volunteers because it was a very far place. And when we went there, we wanted at least 60 volunteers, and it was 60 kilometers, 70 kilometers. We had 20 volunteers with us. We needed another 20, 30, just painting job, घर पे जो करते अपन, I don't know if you do or not, but painting thing that we wanted. So I went to a very popular college next door, and I went and met the director of this college and said, sir, we are renovating a school nearby. It's a government school. And he said, yeah, I know the school, very nice school and all. Then I said, sir, we're looking for a few volunteers. We want them to just come and help us out and, just do our work. And he looked at me and said, sorry, Arun, we cannot send. Then I said, sir, don't worry, we'll even give you certificates. So this thing which he said made me feel real bad. He said, what certificate you will give? I'm going to give you certificate. And this is a college, big institute telling what certificate you'll give. I'll only give you certificate. वो पूरा community service नहीं होता अभी अपने से. Our students are made to study hard. So what I felt bad was, if we are not driving into our colleges, our schools, our homes, our places where children grow up, we are not teaching them how to be a better person than a brilliant mind, then I think we're missing out something somewhere. If we want a better world, we want better human beings too. So one of the reasons we at Youngistaan that we focus is try to bring as many as young people. The whole intention of Youngistaan was not for forming an NGO and all, but when we started off, we just started with two friends and we said, hey, let's do something. Like every one of us have a passion to do something for the community. We never tend to implement it because we do not know what people will think. Believe me or not, I have a lot of people who walked up to me and said, oh, you do NGO work, arey, kuch paisa milta tumhare ko? I said, no, paisa nahi, at least I'm happy, man, I'm doing something. Paisa alag baat hai, I do other things to earn money. But we have a mentality, which says social work, NGOs, it's not something we can live, earn our bread and butter. And the other side is people only earn bread and butter but not doing any groundwork, which is a reality too. So, we created a small group of friends. We said, let's go on ground level, give food to people and see what best we can do on ground level. And I still remember the first day of our program, we reached out to 10 people, a few of our friends. We went, bought food packets from a restaurant and gave them the food. And we said, hey, khana to koi bhi deta hai, what more we can do? And we said, okay, why not we sit and talk to them? Let's see if we can give them shelter, we can give them clothes. And then we found a very old man sitting on the road. And when we gave him a packet of food, he said, no, khana mingalne nahi ho raha, I cannot swallow the food. But give me something to drink. So we bought him chai and all. And next day we went back to do a follow-up and see where he was, what he was doing. We got to know that he died because of lack of food. That just messed it up for us. We said, it's so sad, what basic thing we want to do, we cannot even let somebody, we couldn't even help that person that much. So the 10 people packet of food that we started to do, we brought more packets of food, reached out to more people. We actually spent a lot of time on ground level. We would shift people to shelter homes. We would go to ground level and rescue children from railway stations. Believe me or not, there was one incident where we found a young kid at a railway station, a boy who was 10 years old, and believe me, we are all zero knowledge, we do not know what to do. This was when I was 20, I'll be telling of my age, which I shouldn't be. I'm in my 20s, so early 20s. So, we went on ground level and we found in this train a small a boy, and when we spoke to him, his pants were all red in color, blood rust. If blood gets soaked into a cloth for a long time and it just becomes a very brownish color. So we spoke to him and we asked him what we can do, is there something more that we can do for him? So we just had a longer conversation with him. He wasn't talking to us for a longer time. But then he finally spoke to us after 2 hours of rapport and conversation that we had with him. He said, "Bhaiya, ye train mein aadmi ja rahe the, un loga mere saath galat kaam kiya." So it broke our heart. There were incidents like this. Then we had to pick that person, put him in a rescue center, and ensure that person, he is now going to a really good school. We recently tried to get hold of him and he's going to a very nice school. Imagine the trauma that he might have had if he wouldn't have intervened at that time. So there are basic stories like that, and where people on ground level, we tried to implement, issues like how food, zero food that we wanted to fight, turned out to, make a livelihood for him. So if you see, all the goals are all interconnected. Isn't that so amazing? Have you ever seen or just checked at the thing? If you meet somebody, you can ensure that person gets food, he has good health, he gets quality education, he is taught about gender awareness. Everything can be done. It's not that I want to stick at, of course you want to do, but you can pick everything and select different zones and work on well-being of people. So that is how it began. We started by giving food, and the reason I said it's everything connected is because then we thought we need to introduce an education program. So earlier when we said we were feeding 10 packets of food, in the last 4 years at Youngistaan we might have fed close to 6 lakhs of meals. This is not only by cooking food and all, but also we fight in food wastage. How many of you ate good lunch today? You had good lunch? Did you know how much food you wasted today? So I was just talking to the kitchen department. They said, "Bhai, if this wasted food, that could have been fed for at least 50 more people." Okay, so that is this small room food that we ate could have given food for 50 more people. Imagine how much food that is being wasted in Hyderabad. So, they say close to 300 crores of food gets wasted in India only because of weddings and a lot of other things. We want fancier wedding. I was telling one of my cousins that I don't want to do a lavish wedding. I want to start a new culture where people just go get court marriage, and if they want dinner, then invite me to your house. I will eat whatever you cook. Why waste food by calling so many people for wedding and all? So you can save food there, consumption of food. So, apart from food program, we started an education program where we work with close to, we work with close to 500 children at this minute. And we have a gender awareness program. So both together, we have worked with close to 10,000 boys and girls from different government schools, orphanages, and slums. So there's multiple programs that we started to do in Youngistaan, and guess how many volunteers we would be having? We have close to 5,000 registered volunteers with us, and we have active close to 200 in Hyderabad. We have started Youngistaan in Bangalore, we are in Delhi, we are in Bhopal, we are in Bombay, and we are planning to expand to much more cities. I was having a conversation with a few friends, and we said, why don't we start and partner with each other and see what more we can do on ground level. So this is what Youngistaan does on ground level, in little we do those programs. I have one more small video just to show little about our work. This is done little long time ago, but it does speak quite of our work. That is very little of what we have been doing at Youngistaan. So I want to just encourage you. You know, what next? You know, what is it now? What are we going to do next? You know, I want to encourage all the young people here. You know, I do not know how many of you do community service, or how many of your friends are involved in helping people in any way possible. You know, I want to encourage you to stand up. You know, join so many organizations that are there now. You know, these opportunities I didn't have. You know, when I was in college. Where my parents wouldn't even have thought of encouraging me to do community service or do any sort of small things that we can do in our own zone. So encourage yourself, you know, ask your friends, go spend little time with any of the volunteer organizations that you find, and get yourself involved. And Kerala Relief, so many things can be done, and believe me or not, your life will change. And it's changed my life. That's something that I've started with an intention of just spending my weekends or 2 hours or something, has became my full-time voluntary work. And it'll and a lot of my volunteers, you know, they're who with us at Youngistaan, who've been there with us for 4 years and 3 years, people who we wouldn't have even thought would be with us for 1 or 2 days. So they are like sitting in leadership positions and doing fantastic work. And we are still a very new organization, and believe me or not, someday we will work with all the organizations here and try our best to see how we will partner with each other. And I think partnering, like everybody have been saying, partnering is the only way to solve an issue. If we do not partner, then we are leaving everything half done. So would love to partner with others, and I want to encourage you, partner with your friends, other organizations, and see how best you can change lives around you. Everything small, like Mother Teresa says, do everything with great love, but every small thing with great love. You know, that is something I would leave with you today. Thank you.